In her 5 years as head coach at Missouri Western, Marion Carbon has never had a losing season on the volleyball court. But the 2016 season would put her team, her family, and her faith through the ultimate test.
To almost lose them before they even get here, you know, really makes you realize what's genuinely important in life.
Last year was a whirlwind.
I think turmoil is the best word to use for it.
Turmoil is a good word.
A young Griffin squad entered the season with a soon-to-be first-time mom as its head coach, 2 first-year assistant coaches, and some serious chemistry issues.
You know, in the past we've had groups of kids where chemistry just came very natural, and you know, this group, it wasn't necessarily like that, so they really had to work at it.
Yeah, it was a little rough.
But few knew of the much more serious problems beyond the surface. Carbon was carrying twins due in December. The pregnancy was high risk.
You know, our doctors had kind of told us that twin pregnancies are always considered high risk, whether everything's going normally or not. With my age, being over the age of 30, an additional layer of risk, we were being watched pretty carefully from the start.
The day we left a specialist in Kansas City, and we found out that there was a potential for our son, maybe even we could face stillbirth with him. The very first thing I did when I got home, I just dropped to my knees and I prayed.
On October 19th, just past the halfway point of the volleyball season and 2 months from her due date, complications with the pregnancy forced Carbon to step away from her team.
At that point, she said, you're probably going to be on bed rest, potentially in the hospital for the rest of your pregnancy. And it actually sent me in an ambulance. I rode in an ambulance all the way down to St. Luke's in Kansas City that very day so that I could start getting more in-depth care.
Despite an inexperienced staff leading an inexperienced squad, the Griffins fought their way to a 17-15 finish in November.
It says a lot about the players that we've recruited and how talented they are. That in the midst of, and maybe sometimes in spite of everything we were going through, we could still win.
Winter 2016 brought an even bigger win.
So on December 22nd of last year, 2016, at 5:45 and 5:46 a.m., Graham and Adelis Carbon joined our family. And both totally healthy. It was really scary for me, but they probably, I know they didn't feel the same.
Let's go back to the start.
Spring was a time, and having babies, it was basically a time for me to reestablish myself as a coach, reinvent myself in some ways.
And the first step of reinvention was to rebuild the missing chemistry.
Even if we all the while did care more about the student athlete, we weren't showing them all the time that we cared more about who they were than we did about the wins and losses.
Yeah, so I think we looked at our team and just decided there was pieces that weren't really clicking, and we had some entitlement issues. So we got kicked out of our locker room in the spring.
We kicked them out, you're right. We moved their stuff out of the locker room for them and gave it to them at a team meeting and said, here's all your stuff.
When she kicked us out, we were like, oh, she means business. We need to get our stuff together.
I think we had lost sight of what it meant to be team.
Put your heart into it. If your heart's not into it, then you can leave, type of a thing.
We have a lot of new people, new faces, young talent.
We have 9 returners, 6 new incoming players, 4 freshmen and 2 transfers.
I do not think going into the beginning of this year anyone says, okay, well, here's my spot. No one.
You know that every time you step on the court, your spot is not guaranteed, so there's going to be a lot more competition.
But We think that that group of 9 returners is really strong because of what they all went through together.
I think our program is stronger for what it's been through. We didn't have a bad season last year. So we had a decent season, and we're going to take that season and make it that great season. We're going to build off of it. We're not going to rebuild and start from scratch because this program's too good to start over from scratch.
And will the win-loss record still be important? Will it still be immeasurable? Yes, absolutely. It always will and too competitive were it not to be. But how happy we are and how much we enjoy each other's company is probably something that's been added in as a result of what we went through last fall.
And don't forget the 2 that went through the most last fall. They're back too, the 2 biggest twin pieces of a newfound perspective.
I was looking at them yesterday thinking, 7, 8 months ago, I was worried about not even being here. And now this little guy is crawling under the coffee table and I can't get him to sit down to freaking eat. And he just gives you this big fat smile. Yes, we call them the good luck Griffs. Hopefully they can.
They'll be at all the games that don't occur during their bedtime.
Yeah.
Put it that
Put
way.
it that way, yeah.